I've been riding motorcycles now, oh my gosh, I think it's going to be 18 years this year. But my first few years, I didn't ride much other than just locally. I was kind of like a weekend rider, ride with my husband, didn't know any other women that rode, so I kind of just did that. And then I had an accident, I couldn't ride for a few years, so I started picking it up again in about 2017, and decided to go on this trip to a little local camp out down in southern Lancaster County. And I met some girls there who had done these crazy cross-country trips, and I was like, that's wild. Like, these girls are much younger than me, and they're doing these crazy cool things. So they talked about this trip, this camp out they were going to have, motorcycle camp out for women in Kentucky. I was like, well, I've never done an out-of-state trip. Certainly never done it solo. So sure, let's do that. I had this girl that was going to go with me, and of course she ditched me at the last minute. Never seen her again. So I go on this trip, and I'm like, got all my gear, I'm all packed up. I've never done this before, and get to West Virginia, camp for the night, head on the road. Got all my rain gear. I know I'm going to hit a storm. I am like watching the map, and I keep skirting around trying to avoid this storm. And I hit this point where I can see it in front of me, and there's no way I'm not going to get it. So I stop, pull over the side of the highway, like pulling on all the rain gear. And I hit this storm, and I was not prepared. I had never ridden in a storm before. And West Virginia storms in the mountains have high winds. In fact, I didn't find out till later that I hit tornado force winds. I'm not really sure how I kept my motorcycle upright, I'll be totally honest. It ended up blowing me off the road, and I'm literally standing up with my leg between the guardrail and my bike, just trying to hold it up for like 30 minutes. And I'm in the rain, pouring rain, and I'm just crying. Crying on the side of the road because I don't know what to do at this point. My motorcycle was a little sketchy to start with, and now I know that I've messed up my chain and I really shouldn't be riding that much farther, and I have no clue where I am, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, with no service. So I literally, once it lets up a little bit, just kind of ride down a little bit farther, finally find a gas station, and I pull over, and I am in this gas station in all my rain gear in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, bawling on the phone with my husband because I don't know what to do anymore. And this asshole comes up to me and goes, it's kind of wet out there. Yes, sir, it is. And you know what? It was kind of, that was the start of the tipping point, because I was like, you jerkwad. You do what I just did. You're in like this huge truck. So I finally figure out, I finally find a U-Haul and get my motorcycle on it, and there's a whole bunch of fiascos that go to trying to tie down a motorcycle in the back of a U-Haul truck to drive it all the way back to Pennsylvania. But I got back and I did it, and I just was like, I did it. And that was like my tipping point with motorcycles. Like, I got stuck in the middle of nowhere, and kind of my worst case scenario other than an actual accident, and I did fine. I figured it out. And now I do motorcycle trips all the time. I do over 5,000 miles a year. I run a local women's motorcycle riding group. I actually rode 7 states by myself, over 2,000 miles this last year, down to Georgia to visit my brother. And I don't think I would have done it if I hadn't taken that step to do that trip. Had a horrible time, but learned a lot about myself along the way.